When the United States and Australia clash in this pivotal Group D fixture of the 2026 World Cup, they bring to the pitch a very peculiar athletic inheritance. For generations, both nations treated soccer not as a primary religion, but as a foreign curiosity. Yet their historic footprint on this global stage is profound. The United States shocked the world as semi-finalists in the inaugural 1930 tournament, while Australia's golden generation carved a legacy of fierce, physical defiance, rising from the isolation of Oceania to conquer Asian giants. Today, this match is no longer a sideshow. It is a collision between two highly engineered, athletic machines. The Americans play with a frantic, high-intensity transition style, reflecting their hyper-commercialized youth sports industry. The Australians, the Socceroos, answer with an unbreakable, rugged team, synergy born from a sports culture that values physical sacrifice above all else. This modern athletic battle, occupying just a fraction of our story, is a fascinating gateway to a grander historical mirror. To understand the foundational grit of these two nations, we must examine how they conquered their massive, untamed continents. In the 19th century, the United States was driven by a powerful ideological doctrine known as manifest destiny, the collective belief that Anglo-Saxon civilization was divinely ordained to expand westward across North America, brutally displacing indigenous nations, conquering vast prairies, and taming the wild frontier from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Australia, however, faced a completely different kind of frontier prison. Founded in 1788 not as a land of free pioneers, but as a brutal penal colony for the British Empire, early Australia was a dumping ground for convicts. The early European settlers did not march across fertile plains. They were trapped on the coastal edges of a hostile, hyper-arid continent. Survival meant conquering the Outback, a vast, unforgiving desert heartland that forged a distinct national character, built on mateship, resilience, and pure defiance against nature. Despite their geographic separation, the destinies of America and Australia aligned foreign migration, patterns through a singular element: gold. In 1848, a sudden discovery at Sutter's Mill ignited the California gold rush, drawing hundreds of thousands of fortune hunters from Europe, China, and Latin America. It transformed San Francisco, overnight from a sleepy village, into a booming global metropolis, embedding a permanent culture of high stakes, capitalism, and rugged individualism into the American DNA. Just 3 years later, in 1851, the exact same phenomenon struck the British colony of Victoria. The Australian gold rushes triggered a massive demographic explosion. Free immigrants flooded the continent, outnumbering the convict population almost overnight. But while the American gold rush fostered fierce individual competition, the Australian goldfields sparked a democratic rebellion. The famous Eureka Stockade uprising of 1854 saw miners take up arms against colonial taxation, laying the historical bedrock for Australia's egalitarian spirit and anti-authoritarian culture. As the world entered the dark storms of the 20th century, the historical umbilical cord connecting Australia to the British Empire was violently severed. During World War II, with the British base of Singapore falling to the Japanese Empire and London unable to defend the Pacific, Australia made a radical, pragmatic geopolitical shift. In 1941, Prime Minister John Curtin declared that Australia looked to America, free of any pangs as to their traditional links with the United Kingdom. This strategic pivot culminated in 1951 with the signing of the ANZUS Treaty, a powerful trilateral security alliance that turned the United States into Australia's ultimate nuclear and military shield. From the battlefields of Vietnam to the modern strategic chessboards of the Indo-Pacific, Australia has stood as America's most loyal ally in the Southern Hemisphere. Today's match is a sporting encounter between two nations whose modern geopolitical survival is deeply intertwined in a shared military brotherhood. This brings us to a fascinating sociological paradox. While both nations embraced British legal and political systems, they fiercely rebelled against the traditional British game of football. In the late 19th century, As the rest of the world was adopting soccer, both America and Australia deliberately insulated themselves. The United States codified American football, a highly tactical, militaristic war of yards led by gridiron strategists. Simultaneously, Melbourne witnessed the birth of Australian rules football, or footy, a chaotic, high-flying, ultra-physical game played on massive cricket ovals, designed specifically to keep cricketers fit during winter. By creating their own unique, insulated codes of football, both societies asserted their complete cultural independence from the old world of Europe. Soccer was rejected because both empires demanded a game that reflected their own distinct frontier violence. So today, when the stars and stripes of the United States face the green and gold of Australia under the 2026 World Cup floodlights, look beyond the soccer ball. You are witnessing the meeting of two grand imperial offshoots that successfully conquered their own continents. It is a battle between America's restless, capitalist expansionism and Australia's egalitarian, Outback hardened brotherhood. The true debate now moves to the comments. Which continental empire's history will dominate this modern frontier? Drop your thoughts and predictions below. If you want to uncover the raw geopolitics, gold rushes, and military alliances behind the world's greatest cultural rivalries, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This is Historia Prime, and the pitch never forgets.